This will be the final video in my series surrounding the different pathways that an athlete can take into sport. Within this video I will recap my previous videos as well as trying to link some of the different pathways and topics together where possible. Throughout this channel I have looked at a number of topics which relate to an athlete's pathway into sport. These topics have included looking at whether talent is an innate trait, the relative age effect, the effect of an athlete's birthplace, the influence of an athlete's family, and the theory of talent transfer. Starting with the debate on whether talent is innate or not, after looking at multiple pieces of evidence from within sport and away from sport, I came to the conclusion that talent cannot fully be put down to being an innate quality. As although many top athletes were born with certain traits which have aided their success, for example body shape or height, without countless hours of training and hard work, they would never have got to where they are today, as talent is something that has to be developed, or an athlete will never progress further than their successes as a child. I feel this video links quite well with my video on the effect of an athlete's birthplace. This is because both factors are completely out of an athlete's control, yet play a huge part in their journey to professional sport. For example, if an athlete is born in a small town with a lack of facilities, then they will have less opportunities to practice and therefore develop at a slower rate than someone who has great access to pitches and equipment. As well as this, there are some environments, such as Kenya, which was covered in my video, which are perfect for some sports, and being born there can give an athlete a huge advantage. Another topic I covered which links closer to these two subjects is the effect an athlete's family can have on their progress in sport. This is because these three factors all closely relate, due to the fact that they all occur right at the beginning of an athlete's life, meaning they completely shape how a player's sporting future will play out in terms of the decisions athletes make and the career preferences they end up having. For example, if from a young age a child's parents are supportive and encouraging in a sporting environment, then that child will more than likely continue in sport and have a greater chance of success. Whilst on the other hand, children with somewhat overbearing parents will struggle in the early stages due to the amount of pressure being placed upon them at such a young age. With these three factors that all occur so early in an athlete's life, it is so important that they all coincide and become positive influences on a young person, as if even one of these factors turns out to be negative, that person's whole sporting future can be altered in a negative way. These important factors taking place in the early stages of an athlete's life was a common theme I found within the videos I created and the topics I covered, as another element of a child's pathway I looked into was the relative age effect, which is concerned with a child's date of birth and how this affects their chances of success and selection compared to children with later or earlier birthdays. This theory states that children who are born in the earlier months of the year will have a better chance of succeeding in the professional game. It's in their younger years, where children are usually picked up by professional clubs, they have a physical advantage over kids born later in the year, as they've had more time to grow and develop physically. This again showcases the fact that a huge proportion of an athlete's pathway into sport takes place right at the beginning of their life, as well as once again showing off the fact that a lot of the factors that make great athletes successful were completely out of their hands, such as birthplace, birthday and their families. However, one of the topics I covered in a video moves away from all of these factors, as it is something that occurs later in an athlete's life and is something that they have total control and final decision over. This is the factor of talent transfer. The process of talent transfer involves an athlete transitioning from one sport to another in which it is felt that they will have more success. Although this does not link in the same way that many of my other covered factors do, it could be said that this process links to the relative age effect and the debate on talent being innate. This is because a child may have started out playing a sport that they enjoyed when they were younger, but due to their date of birth and innate qualities, such as their size and build, they may have ended up switching to a sport in which these attributes are more key to success, for example volleyball or rowing. To conclude, over the course of looking deeper into the process of an athlete's pathway into sport, I have learnt a lot about how many different things must align for someone to be successful. The biggest thing that I have taken from this process is that an athlete's early life and early surroundings play a huge part in shaping what their sporting career will look like, as everything, including birthdays, where they are born, what their families are like, and their genetic makeup, all play a massive part. If even one of these factors is slightly off or negative, a person's pathway to sport becomes much more troublesome and difficult, but never impossible, as shown by the countless athletes who have had to overcome adversity to become the greats of sport.